And we have one more option to explore about the different kinds of subroutines, and that is a subroutine that has more than one input parameters. And let's create here for an example. So I create here a subroutine that is able to create a string from some input parameters, and let's say okay, it's some text that describes the person's name and age. So let me say it's introduction of the person, and it takes as an input parameters as a string the name of the person, and then as an integer type variable the age. So pay attention here how I tell if when the subroutine has more than one input parameters. So I will have to list all those data and tell the types and names, just like when we're dealing with only one input parameter, and then separate them with commas here. And now it is very important that you pay attention also to the order in which these parameters are listed. Obviously, they are not. It's not important when we create this subroutine, but it's important when we are calling it. Okay, so now since this subroutine is supposed to return some string type value, in this case I will just create here a string type variable who is, so okay, I call this the intro, right? So this is the supposed to keep the introduction of the person as a string, and okay, and this time I will gradually build this string from pieces together. So in the end I will have something similar as I have here, but now I just construct in a different way. So I start from empty string, and then I will add into this intro. So I will add something on top of the current string. So the empty string is continued by the name of the person, and then I will next expand it with a comma, empty, and then word age, and then this double point, right? And finally I will finish this string with the age, so it means the numeric value of the age. Okay, so now I have constructed the whole string, and what is then just remaining not done yet is to return this constructed string to the caller. Okay, and maybe I could use that in well, here. So because here I'm going to output something similar, I could do something like this. I tell here string, and then this would be the introduction, and it equals the introduction method with these two input parameters, which are, in this case I will use this name that has been asked here and this age that has been asked here. And now the introduction will return this the string, okay, and it will be saved here. So now I can replace this call here, and instead I would output something by using this string variable introduction. So this variable I use here as an input parameter. Okay, so now and then the result would be similar to this one. Okay, if you want to see how it is working, we can try compiling it. Write your name. Okay, writing my name, and now this text here was output by this call here. Okay, but then where did we get the text that we output? It's stored here in this variable introduction. So it means it came from this subroutine. All right, and then it was gradually built from those building blocks here. And of course, if I would like to develop this further, I could also do so that I don't even need. Okay, I need to stop this running. Okay, I will now modify my calls a little bit further. So I will replace also this here with the result of this call. All right. So I will do something like this. So now I just replaced the variable with the call to this method introduction. And actually, if I want to go further, I could also replace this parameter, which is the variable name, with this call to the ask username. Okay, I can take this from here, I can put it here, like this, and then how did I get the age? I got it by this subroutine. So I take this away and then I put it here. So now I can get rid of this row here and I can get rid of this row here, and actually all those subsequent calls to those subroutines are now placed on one row only. And let's have a look how it works now. So I put here a breakpoint and then I start. Okay, now it stops here. So where do you think the program flow will next go? So what is your guess? So let's see. I will just step into the first call. So where does it go? It goes to the ask username. All right. So it takes from this list, it takes this call and performs it first. And that's exactly how these nested calls always operate. They will start from the inner side. So they start from that call that is most inside and solve it out. So after I run this subroutine here through, then it returns the name, and then basically the call here, this call ask username, has been replaced by that name that the user enters from the keyboard. So now I will let this run forward. I will let this run, and then now I'm going to have some text on the screen, I think. Okay, now it's expecting not yet, but now it's expecting me to write my name. Okay, I press enter, and now when I return from this ask username, where does the program flow go? It goes back to this line, so it goes back here. So now this part here has been finished. So username has been asked, and this call is now replaced with the string Antti. Okay, and if I continue, what part of this call will be executed next? Let's see. So I go into, it goes into the calc age. So it goes into this process here, which is also one of those most inside calls. So it needs to be solved out before we can perform this introduction. Right, so what happens here, it calculates the age from the given values and then returns that value, and now I get back here. So now both of these input parameters that are used for introduction have been solved out, and now it's time to make a call to this subroutine. So the program flow goes now next there, and it gradually builds the string, and we can also see how this string is being built here. So currently it only has the name here. Next it's gonna be expanded with the comma and the word age. So when I press here once, so now intro has also this part, and one click further, and now the finally the intro has all these parts here, and then it returns back here. And now it is okay. Now this part here is being executed to the end, and only thing is that is remaining is the output something, and that is being taken care of now. Output text here now is the whole output text that was constructed in the previous phases, and it will be now output on the screen. So here it is, you can read it here. And of course now only after this, now this whole statement, whole row here is being finished, and it's time to go forward to the next statement. So this is how the subroutines work, and now you also saw an example where the subroutines are being nested. So I have one subroutine called inside another, which is also something that you might benefit from if you understood how it works.